I'm Camilla Sloan.
And I'm Catherine Davies, and this is the evaluation for our A2 Advanced portfolio. We decided to create a film trailer as we wanted to do something different from our AS media task, which was to create a set of magazine products. We wanted to make a hybrid genre, thriller, horror, cinematic trailer, as this was a genre that we were interested in and was also a popular choice with our primary target audience when we carried out our target audience research. For our ancillary tasks, we created a film poster and magazine front cover to help promote our film trailer.
In terms of the primary target audience, we had to consider the UK film rating system that is in place as a result of the hypodermic needle theory. The hypodermic needle theory is a linear communication theory, which suggests that media messages are injected directly into the brains of a passive audience. It suggests that we're all the same and we all respond to media messages in the same way. We took this on board and established that from this, youths are more likely to imitate behaviour that they've seen in the media, especially in films. Thus, our film Intruder would have to represent viewers aged 15+, as it contains some violent images to match horror thriller conventions. This meant that our trailer and the film product would be pitched at a primary target audience of 15 to 24-year-olds, as this is the group who have the most disposable income to spend on going to the cinema, and this is the group who are the most drawn to the horror genre. However, it is known that younger children often like to watch films that they are legally not meant to see, as they see them as more appealing because it is rebellious for them to watch something that they should not be seeing. Due to this, we decided to make our trailer a 12 in terms of age rating by not including too much violence or scenes of a sexual nature. The target audience will also fall within social grades C1 to E, and the majority of the audience will be heterosexual males. The secondary target audience will be females of the same social grade and sexuality and age.
The age we have decided will broaden the number of people that are likely to see the trailer and will encourage recognition for the film when it's released. Some of the alcohol use is also in the trailer, but more is in the actual film, and this behaviour could be imitated in real life, and for this reason the film is rated more highly than the trailer. Hopefully this rating will avoid imitation.
Todorov's narrative theory contains 5 stages, which he states that all films follow. These stages are equilibrium, disruption, realisation, restored order, and restored equilibrium. The trailer for Intruder does loosely follow this theory, as there is an initial equilibrium and disruption. From this, the audience can gather that the problem may be overcome in the end of the film, but the trailer does not show this in order to avoid spoiling the film. The equilibrium is disrupted by the death of the man's family, alcohol abuse, and psychotic thoughts. The stages later than disruption are not included in the trailer in order to keep the audience excited and waiting in suspense for the film. Props character theory states that there are 7 types of characters that usually are found in narratives: the villain, the dispatcher, the helper, the prize, the donor, and the hero and the false hero. Intruder only displays 2 of these characters as it is only a trailer, and there is not enough time to display all different character types. The intruder herself is characterised to be a villain, and the man is characterised as the hero. Although he possesses very few heroic qualities, he is the protagonist and the victim of the film.
In 1997, Bentley stated that the creative process is the taking and rearranging of the old media to create the new. In order to apply this theory to our product, we looked at common conventions of thriller and horror genres when conducting our research in order to ensure that, when it came to producing our trailer, we could match conventions. Conventions of the horror genre include jump scares, characters that the audience can sympathise with, atmospheric, diegetic and non-diegetic sounds, and more often than not, a supernatural element that will torment the characters. To a certain extent, my group feel that we have conformed to all of these conventions, especially the supernatural or psychological element that torments the character. Intruder can be linked to paranormal activity films, which all involve characters questioning whether their house is haunted or someone is being possessed. The paranormal activity films also link to Intruder, as in both films the characters set up cameras to try and record the happenings in the house to solve the mystery. A convention of the thriller genre that my film follows is having the antagonist of the film resemble something familiar, like another human, so they do not look so unrealistic that they become satirical or farcical. The intruder in the trailer does resemble another human, as she has long hair and a human body, making her appear more threatening. This makes her relatable and follows thriller genre conventions because the audience is kept in suspense to see if she is completely human or does possess any supernatural qualities, and to see if see how she is actually a threat. However, this does challenge convention of the unrelatable antagonist in some horror films.
One of the biggest and most effective components of horror thriller films is the accompanying score, which is most of the reason why jump scares and other fright-inducing visuals are so effective. The non-diegetic sounds builds tension and atmosphere. This was the most challenging element to try and conform to, as the resources we had were limited. The production and sourcing of non-diegetic sounds was a challenge which made it difficult to fully conform to the genre. As mentioned before, the trailer we have created is a thriller-horror combination film. The thriller conventions are very similar to that of the horror genre. However, a thriller is much more focused on the restoration of equilibrium, whereas a horror film is just fear-inducing for as long as possible. A convention of the thriller genre, and especially the psychological thriller genre, is establishing the difference between what is reality and what is not. This is challenging for the main character, as he is an alcohol abuser and is unsure as to whether he is hallucinating the intruder or not. Low-level lighting, fast cuts between shots, and a juxtaposition between the silences and highly tense music are all conventions of thriller genre, and we have tried to incorporate as much of these conventions as we could when filming and editing in order to maintain suspense and interest in the audience.
The films and trailers that we watched when conducting our research were of great help and importance, as it meant we could see common conventions that were most important to include in order to convey the atmosphere that we wanted. In The Purge, Seven and Good People, the music is all very similar in that it's mainly non-diegetic and it creates a suitable amount of suspense to keep the audience on edge but not overwhelm them. All these films also have a lot of dimly lit scenes which touch upon most people's fears of the unknown and the dark. We tried to recreate this dimly lit effect when filming our trailer. However, as we were recording in the day, it was difficult to fully achieve this. The score we used worked very well to include tension within the trailer, and it resembles that of other trailers of a similar genre, which is positive considering this was a challenging element to get right. When promoting a film, the media used must reflect the main product and the target audience that the product is trying to reach. For example, if you're promoting in a magazine, the amount of people that are likely to see the advert is going to be restricted to the readers of the magazine. Creating a film trailer with two ancillary products allows the film to be made and promoted by writing an article and attracting the readers of that magazine, as well as anyone who sees the poster on the streets or in the cinema. In order to make the trailer known to as many people as possible, it was important that we created both ancillary products that were going to enhance the likelihood of people seeing the trailer and attract a large audience to the film when it comes out. The products need to be recognisable in that they are all promoting the same film. There needs to be one, if not more, things that are uniform across the campaign so that people will recognise the film and trailer when they are released.
My poster was created around two real-life examples, the poster for Jezebel and Orphan. I also looked at posters created to promote Shutter Island. However, the poster that I looked at was not going to be as effective for my trailer. My poster features an image of the intruder, which has undergone a lot of editing in order to make the woman look ghostly and unrecognisable as a human, in order to make the audience question if she is real or not. Textures have been overlaid over the original image, and the intruder herself has been cut out of the background and enlarged in order to make her the main focus of the poster. Her ghostly appearance makes her look like an apparition by changing the opacity of the layers and using tools such as blend, lasso, dodge and burn. This effect was able to be created after a long editing process. The typography of the title is in a recognisable font which has been used across all three products in order to show continuity and professionalism. The font is a thin and jagged, which holds the impression that it could have been handwritten. This makes it thrilling as it could connote that the intruder wrote it. There is no release date on the poster as it is just an initial trailer, and the film release date has not been decided. In its place, I have used the words "coming soon" to give a vague indication of the time before the film's release. By having this in place of release date, it means that changes can be made to the film without the release date being postponed. The credits and the social media tags are at the bottom of the poster in very small but legible fonts, not to distract the attention of the reader, but to include necessary information and follow conventions of a film poster. The tagline is "Loneliness is just an illusion." This is a suitable tagline and it makes the reader formulate questions about the film. It is suitable in that it hints that the main character is lonely, which is true because his family have tragically died, and that there could be or may not be someone living in his house or living close to him, which makes him feel less alone. It also relates to the psychotic elements of the trailer. This tagline is also evident in all three products, which is conventional to real media products. I looked at Entertainment Weekly, Total Film and Empire magazine front covers for inspiration and research. I used these covers to look at conventions in real-life film magazines. This gave me some ideas to be able to create my own product. My magazine front cover contains the same font and tagline as on the poster, which will show continuity across the products. The image on the magazine front cover is different to that on the poster. The image on the magazine cover is a medium close-up image, which is at eyeline height to the star vehicle. This image has been edited and smoke effects have been layered over the top to give the background texture and a hint at the psychotic nature of the character. Using the dodge and burn tools, the model's eyes have been edited to ensure that they stand out from his tan skin and are made noticeable to the audience. As it is commonly known that you first see fear in people's eyes, this was a feature I wanted to enhance. The blemishes on the model have all been erased using the spot healing tools and a retouching process that I found when I was researching how to effectively use Photoshop. This is conventional, as in the editing process of real magazines, the images would have been heavily retouched. The star vehicle on the magazine would be familiar to people who have watched the trailer or vice versa. This shows continuity between these products and ensures that the product will be recognisable, that they are part of the same promotional package. There is no mention of the release date as it is only a front cover, and therefore all of the information along with those lines would be included in the feature pages. The rest of the magazine front cover has no real correlation to the film directly. However, the magazine is clearly a film magazine, as all words and text on the cover is associated with films and filmmaking. Words such as essential, world's best and top 100 all connote that the magazine only includes films that are truly worth watching. This gives off a positive message about Intruder and encourages people to watch the trailer and film. With even just a quick glance at the front cover, it is clear to see that the magazine's main focus for the week is on Intruder. This is conventional for a real film magazine front cover, as it normally only displays one image on the front cover with surrounding and supporting text.
I looked at real-life examples to help create my poster magazine and used common conventions of existing products in the same genre. I analysed magazine covers of the current popular film magazines Total Film and Empire and used the covers to help create my magazine cover. I already had experience creating magazine covers for my AS portfolio, so this task was quicker to do for me than the others. For the cover, I used an image of the actor stood in front of the front door of the house we filmed in. I decided not to use a studio setup because I noticed whilst looking at conventions that most of the magazine covers were less formal and related more to the character film. I edited this image and made it darker using the curves to create a more dramatic look. I also used dodge and burn tools on his eyes to make his eyes a crystal blue colour that stand out well against his darker skin and the darker background. I corrected his skin using the blemish tool to erase some of his freckles, which made the image look unprofessional, and doing this gave a cleaner look. I added layers of texture and vignette over the image as well to make it look more professional and to frame him well. On the cover under the main image, I used the name of the film and the tagline in the fonts they have been used continuously across the other products to help create a recognisable name to the audience. This is used a lot in real media products to help promote the products and link them together. I put lots of other film stuff on the cover, such as film news and other products in the industry to make my magazine cover look more like a current professional magazine that's in circulation. The fact that the magazine cover shows other popular successful films promotes Intruder really well, and people will relate it to big movies even though it's a smaller film. By using the magazine name Screen, it immediately connotes film and allows the audience to recognise the magazine as a film magazine. To help try and keep a current existing magazine look, I use language such as 10 coolest movies and world exclusive, which are phrases that are good at drawing an audience in and selling magazines. I think my magazine cover did a good job at promoting our film alongside the trailer and poster, and looks professional by following current conventions. I analysed the posters for Charter Island and Jezebel to find conventions and used this to help create my poster. The image I used on the cover wasn't shot in a studio setup, and I did this because there is conventions of film posters that show the character in the film setting with items used in the film, which hint at the storyline. The main image is heavily edited, and there are lots of texture layers on it which darken it and make it look less flat and more eye-catching, and to align the audience's view to the centre of the poster where the star vehicle is shown. I also added a layer of a silhouette, which is meant to be a ghostly apparition, so the audience questions whether the intruder is real or not. I did this using multiply from the layering options and changing the opacity to make it look effective. I used the signature intruder film font that is used on the magazine cover and in the film trailer to create a recognisable image. We chose a font that looks creepy and handwritten, which looks effective and could link to the intruder. At the top of the poster I put the names of the 2-star vehicles used, which is conventional on most film magazines, and helps to frame the poster and give a hierarchy for the audience's eyes so they follow down the page and are guided to the film's name. Just in front of the apparition on the poster I have written the film's tagline, "Loneliness is just an illusion," and used a plain font but edited it by blurring across the middle of the letters to make it look more interesting and link into the word illusion. I used this phrase to create interest in our film as it hints at the narrative of the lonely main character and his mental state as he doesn't know what is real and what isn't real. Instead of putting a release date, I put the phrase "coming soon" to keep the audience interested and to keep the time unlimited so the release date can be changed if needed. Underneath the film trailer I put a credit block, which is conventional in most, if not all, current posters. It shows the details of the people involved in creating the film, which is good at promoting the production companies and gets the people who help produce the film's names out there. At the bottom of the poster I put details of social media, which is a newer thing on posters, but they allow the audience to follow up on the film's progress online and allow us as filmmakers to see the following that the film is gaining for our products. I think my poster looks very professional and does a good job of promoting the film by creating interest and giving information to the audience.